What are we chasing? What are we looking for? Because even on one bed, I'm not able to occupy all of it. Which takes me to the issues that we have had as Africa, where one person wants to grab so much at the expense of everyone.
Turn around. Turning point. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Okran. Welcoming you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Great news. Today we begin our brand new series called Thinkathon. We model this after the Greek philosophers of ancient times who sat down and reflected on society, asked themselves very tough questions about what should we be doing differently and how we can remodel our lives to bring out the very best in ourselves. In this series, we hope to bring thinkers and leaders from various fields who would help us to ask ourselves those questions that we sometimes don't want to ask because they leave us feeling very uncomfortable. Let me start with a couple of quotes before I go to my guest for today. So Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." His cousin, and that's my own definition, Aristotle said, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." Plato wasn't left out. He said, "An idea has no power to create the corresponding concrete block." So ultimately, we are hoping that out of these conversations, some thoughts, some ideas will come out that would help us reshape our lives, our nation, our continent, and the world at large. To get us going on this series is somebody I last hosted maybe 6 years ago. He then had become the Dean of the University of Ghana Business School. So I would call him the immediate past Dean of the Business School, Professor Justice Bawole. Prof, good to see you.
Thank you, my brother, and it's great to be here.
It's a blessing. I can so remember our last conversation and the energy you brought to the role you had just begun. How would your reflections be on the past 6 years?
I think it's been extremely tough, and I should acknowledge that because we work within the public tertiary education sector that has very limited resources from government. You are also not allowed to charge appropriate fees, and so you are left in between no fees or money coming from government and no money coming from the student, and so you have to make interventions at very tough strains. But I'm happy that you are beginning us on how to critically examine ourselves. The thing about leadership, and which is the reason why I accepted the job 6 years ago, was that I want to be part of the solution to the problems rather than just sit and complain. So the past 6 years have been challenging, but they've also been fulfilling. Fulfilling to the extent that on a daily basis you can see the impact of your actions, your decisions, and the things that you do. And for us, we have young minds that we mint. We want to create in them a desire to go out there and be different, and that requires you yourself demonstrating what you want to see in them. And so I think I have, together with my colleagues, shaped the school quite well, and our product out there will be the testimony to this story. But I think it's been an exciting journey.
Normally, the issue of legacy will be left to others to reflect on. But for you, what has it done to you? What kind of person has it made you, this whole process?
I think I've been extremely humbled because you can have great ideas, and because you are just an individual, you will need a collaboration of a lot of people and institutions and to be able to execute that. So when you dream and you are so energetic about the dream, you can, if you do not have the right people, the right support systems, it gets difficult to get that through. But I've kind of enjoyed the support of my colleagues. They have trusted in me. I made a vow to them. I made a promise to them that I will be the same person that I was before I became dean, when I became dean. And I'm proud to say that I have lived that. So my colleagues can walk to me and engage me on the floor, come to my office and challenge me, in fact, in meetings, speak to your face on the things that they feel we are not getting right and stuff like that. And so it leaves me with this feeling of the fact that power has to be a collective, responsibility, and achievement must be collective responsibility. And so it takes you away from the fact that you are not the one solely responsible for the things that happen to you, even though you are responsible for the failures if they come. So a bit of humility, a lot of humility, a bit of celebration, and I think that's what I can say.
It seems to be that a leader's philosophy is shaped by their personal philosophy, their ethics, their upbringing, their outlook on life. Is it more difficult to sell that one, comparing that one to implementing or execution of your ideas? Which is more difficult, selling your personal philosophy or executing your ideas? So
I think that if anybody was properly so made and you developed a philosophy, it's easier, at least as far as I am concerned. So for me, it was easy for me to live my philosophy and to say that I won't do X, I won't do Y, and this is what I will do. So if somebody came to me making an argument why I should change that, that argument didn't fall. I mean, it didn't move me. So I was not tempted at any point in time, for example, to become the Bawole that I am not. Right. The Bawole that I am is a humble Bawole, but I'm very firm if I have to take decisions. I am very humane, and so I try to listen to people and to not judge them before I listen to them, and to be able to say, well, under the circumstance, I think this is what we must do, whilst still getting the results. For me, I think that if you were a leader and you were made up of some substance, it should be possible for you to influence your people to think and behave like you do. In the public service, it's much, much difficult because when people have gone through a particular culture for a long time, it becomes difficult for you to dissolve them in a day using your own philosophies. But what people do is that they watch you and they don't just listen to you. They watch you and they pick from what you do. So whilst you will shout and shout, and sometimes I do shout, that doesn't change them. What changes them is what you do and the kind of attitude, behaviors that you show yourself. So if you say people should not do the wrong things, they are looking up to see whether you will do same or not. And if they cannot have an alibi in you, in the kind of things you do, then they will begin to, at least when you are around, they will try to do the right things. So I don't think it's very difficult to influence people. So when I hear, and I've heard this quite a while, people say, well, for example, you enter politics, the system will change you. And I say, no, when I enter politics and I'm changed, then it is me who changed, not the politics that changed me. And so it's the same thing that I had, so colleagues would say things, and there are very many things, including things that border on money, border on power and how it is used, influence and how it's used. And if you do not, so if you do not have this inner, built, self-directed, you will get influence. A ship that has no rudder would definitely move in different directions. And I think that leadership, leaders have to lead and not be led. And that leadership, leading and not being led, for me, has to do with the kind of person you are, and that what comes out of you must be that which keeps you going, and not what your colleagues tell you. Of course, in leadership, when you work with many people, you make decisions by consensus. Sometimes you would give in to superior arguments, but when it comes to the morality, which is your persona, then it is you.
Someone once said, every poor man is humble, or every poor man is a good man.
Yeah.
Give them power and you will see who they truly are. So Prof is saying that no matter what it is, Who you are is who you are, no matter the amount of power or the amount of money that you get to control. This is Thinkathon, the power of ideas, as part of our ongoing conversations for Springboard, your virtual university. Prof, you're marking actually 17 years of doing this.
Oh, wow.
Consistently engaging leaders,
Wow.
top leaders, achievers, people from various fields, academia, industry, business, sports, arts, entertainment, and just reflecting on how to build the good society. Interestingly, 17 years ago, on the evening of Monday, the 4th of August,
Yes.
I sat in the studios with Comfort, and
Yes.
then our first guest was Grace Amelbing.
Okay.
And the reflection that day was on the thoughts of, interestingly, a Greek philosopher. And it was about, it was a Russian Leo Tolstoy,
Okay.
asking how much land does a man need?
Yes.
And it was a brilliant story about a man called Pahom, who was doing quite well in life, but kept hearing about bigger things, and ambition made him drive for more. But the more he obtained, the more ambition was tempered by corruption, by twisting people's arms, by doing things in different ways, just as if the end justified the means. And Pahom kept pursuing more and more until he finally heard about a land called the land of the Bashkirs, where you could buy infinite land for 1 peso. He was like, what am I doing here?
Yes, let me
Goes to
see
the
the
land of
way.
the Bashkirs, and they said, there is the land, you can have it. Only one condition. Encircle the land and get back before sunset, and it's all yours. Pahom says, you must be joking. He said, that is it. The night before, he dreamt that the devil was standing over him saying, you are dead. He said, no, this is land. So Pahom encircles, and just when he's about to get back, he says, wow, that's a valley. So much.
Yes.
River. Land. Then he encircles that one too. He sees another one.
He wants to grab
at 2
everything.
PM, he says, hey, I'm supposed to get back. He
Yes.
starts running. He runs, and he manages to get a kilometer away. You can see the finish line and the flag,
Yes.
but his strength is finished.
Finished.
The sun is
Yes,
setting.
yes.
Pahom starts crawling
Yes.
and crawling
Yes.
and crawling and crawling. And Pahom
Let me
falls
congratulate you.
and dies.
This long journey of this story, and you've been on it, and ideas change nations, and I'm happy that you have been on this for this long. But the story you just narrated is a playbook for every individual. If you are not careful, you will chase the wind. I tell my colleagues that there's nothing like top if there are no people. I am in a hurry to get to the top. If you destroy people and you get to the top, and there's no one there to let you feel that you are at the top, there's really no top. The farther away you grow, if you like, the taller you grow, if you do not, pause to reflect and pull people along, you will grow and you'll be out of tune with everyone. What you just narrated is something that I reflect on when I travel, mostly. You travel, you are given a 5-star hotel, a big bed, and on all occasions, I have slept only just about a quarter of the bed. In fact, on most occasions, I will not even tamper with the dressing of the bed as it says. Just one bit, I come, take the duvet, enter that, sleep just at that portion, leave the following morning, they'll come and make the bed again. I come the same place. If they don't come to make my bed, it's the same place I sleep. And I keep reflecting, I ask myself, what are we chasing? What are we looking for? Because even on one bed, I'm not able to occupy all of it. Which takes me to the issues that we have had as Africa, where one person wants to grab so much at the expense of everyone. And if you do not build yourself well, and we spoke about influence, if you do not build yourself well, you get into a situation of leadership, and all you care about is how much you can grab and carry away. As dean of the business school, I had the opportunity to superintend over a school that is the richest in the University of Ghana. I've had encounters, some of those encounters kind of suggest to you that do the wrong things and be fine. In other words, make money out of the wrong things. But I've told myself, that I've never wanted to make money that is not legitimate money. If you drive across the road at the UPSA Precept Junction, there's a new UGBS building that should be finishing at the end of this month. Over 250 million Ghana cedis is required to finish that building. Reverend, if I take 10%, I have 25 million. My father's many children, I was the only one that went to school, so I have pressure. If I got 25 million cedis, I can sort out every problem in my family, and I can get it if I ask for it. In fact, I can get 20% if I ask for it. In fact, I can get 30% if I insisted. But I told myself that 1 cedi of monies meant for that project will not come to me. No one who works with me can take 1 cedi from a contractor who is working on a project that we have looked for money to do. But our society has become that society, as you narrated, where on a daily basis, what it is that we are seeking to do is to acquire as much as we can, even when we know that what we are acquiring, we are getting at the expense of our souls. It's painful sometimes when you get us also Christians also join that. My father was a Tigari fetish priest. And I tell people that to come out from a Tigari fetish house, I was fed with Tigari meat and I grew up as a Tigari boy. In fact, I'm a soothsayer in the traditional setting. I have been tested and I can soothsay. I can see in the spirit if I had been commissioned. And I left that and I became Christian and I asked myself, how can I behave in the way that doesn't reflect the kind of dignity that my calling is? Which is something that I think we have to keep talking about to see how we can create a country where people will be happy and content with the little they have. Because really, we don't need much. Okay, we don't need all the land. We don't need all the money to be content. Recently, somebody asked me, why are you saying that? I said, look, you can be a civil servant and you can live your life without being corrupt and you will be fine. You can be a minister of state, you will be fine. You don't need to steal any money and you will live a very comfortable, content and peaceful life. You can go to bed and you can wake up. I had a lot of trouble as dean on a daily basis. But right when I lay in my bed and I have to go to bed, I have to go to sleep, 5 minutes I am gone. I am sleeping peacefully. I don't even dream. You know, I wake up the next morning and I am going to my work. I don't owe anyone. No one can point any accusing finger to me. You can't call me and say, Bawole, I gave you 100 cedis when you were not entitled to. Okay, so that for me mirrors the story you just gave us about the character in this story who wants to acquire literally everything, and then in the end, you lose everything.
What is your calling? You mentioned my calling.
Yes.
What's your calling?
I am a born-again Christian. I am a tongue-speaking Christian. But I am a Bible-believing Christian, and I am a disciple of Jesus. Now, that portion of disciple of Jesus is that I've tried to live my life very simply as Jesus did. Owe no one a grudge, bear nobody a case, owe no one, don't, do anything that Christ wouldn't do, and all of that. And I've grown to see that it's very simple, really, really very simple. You don't have to struggle to be a very simple person. Very, very. So my calling, and that is what leads me to the work that I do as I did as a dean of the business school, and the teaching that I teach. I've taught ethics since 2008, and I've not only taught my students, and my students know me. So in town, they would mention to you the things that I say in class and the things that I try to teach and to live. And I do that when I go into the public service. I do that with parliamentarians. I do that with civil servants. And every opportunity that I get, I try to live the life that is worthy of my calling. In other words, can we live a life that is not riddled with corruption, a life that is not riddled with a lot of challenges, especially of corruption within our public space, so that people who deserve something, I don't even take gifts in my official role. If even my own students, when they travel, they get scholarship, they go abroad, they are coming, they buy me something, I would, if I have to accept it, I have to pay for it. So my office knows. You came there as a student, you wanted to give something to my secretary to say, oh, this is for, they will tell you, no, they can't take it, because if you take it without my permission, you would go and find the person and give it back to them. I have received gifts on occasions when I am put under the carpet, but I take those gifts and I present them to the institution. I've had people give me money and they give the money through someone, oh, please give this to your dean. I said, take it back. They said, no. Okay, I take it. I do a letter for the person who gave. Rev, I received 5,000 cedis from my colleague that you asked that they should give to me. Since I render service to you in my capacity as dean, and since I cannot take a gift in my capacity as dean, and since I cannot bring you back this money, I've taken the liberty to buy 2 laptops out of this money to donate to needy students who are struggling for their education.
Is it okay to clap for you?
Yes, thank you, Rev. Thank you, Rev. Okay, and I take opportunity to extend a call to such individuals to say, I'm happy that you were happy to give me money, but I need more to support the school that I lead. I need more to give to the needy young men and women, many of who are excellent, brilliant people, but no one to support them. Can we invest in those rather than me?
And that is your calling.
That's my calling.
To be like Christ.
That's my calling.
This is Springboard, your virtual university. If you've been enthralled for the past 25 minutes or so, this is the voice of Professor Justice Bawole, who is the immediate past dean of the Business School of the University of Ghana. Before he became dean, he sat in this chair and told us what to expect. And he says his name means what?
Bawole. They haven't tasted.
They haven't tasted. Now, after 6 years of tasting, he's given us his own reflections on the role. When we come back from this break, really, we will delve into the meat of this conversation. Christopher Paolini says, power without morality is the most dangerous force in the world. Power without morality is the most dangerous force in the world. We'll find out Professor Bawole's thoughts on power and ethics or morality that he has taught for all these years. And then we'll delve into his topic of his recent lecture that set the whole nation on fire. The title alone, without the content, is fiery. Our corruption, our ethics, our public administration, wicked citizens, wicked problems, and stagnating development. Charlie, that thing sounds like a chant. When we come back on this break, let's break it down and see what can we glean about how to build the good society. And by the way, how much land does a man need? This is Springboard, a virtual university, brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, the Springboard Channel, and Graphic Communications Group. Let's go for a break. When we come back, how much land do you need? Please don't go away.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Watch out for a brand new series to celebrate the 17th anniversary of Springboard, your virtual university. It's dubbed Thinkathon, the power of ideas. This series aims to bring together modern Ghanaian thinkers from business, education, the clergy, and government to discuss vital issues to promote intellectual leadership and suggest solutions to Ghana's development.
With host Reverend Albert Okran.
On 24th August, Assistant Professor of Architecture at the University of Michigan, Dr. Kukwa Manfo shares her innovative work which is redefining African architecture, sustainable designs and thoughts on preserving Africa's history. We delve into the world of popular culture and social change with Professor of African and Gender Studies Akosia Atumako Ampofo on Sunday 31st August. Subsequently, we begin September exploring the power of ideas in faith and society with the presiding Bishop of the Methodist Church, Most Reverend Professor Johnson Kwapna Asamoah Jedu. In this episode, we will consider what happens when vision surpasses sight. We will also explore the extraordinary story of overcoming adversity with Ephraim Aye Oraka Tete, a visually impaired scholar from Pram who made history as the first student in 10 years to graduate from the University of Ghana with a perfect 4.0 GPA. On Nkrumah's birthday, 21st September, we reimagine Ghana's democracy and development with Yao Nsako, a former corporate titan who turned fierce critique of broken systems, including what he calls the Santa Claus democracy. We wrap up the series with Ghanaian thinker and social innovator Bright Simmons on September 28th. Don't miss any of these episodes on Springboard, your virtual university, on Sundays at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM and Springboard channel on YouTube. On Joy News, it's at 9 p.m. It is Thinkathon, the power of ideas.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this incredible conversation on our first in the series on Thinkathon, the power of ideas to shape our society. Just to remind you, we are celebrating 17 years of Springboard, your virtual university. And these reflections are a reminder that this is what we set out to do right from day one. Ask ourselves how to build the good society. And we continue what we've always done, bringing thinkers and leaders to reflect on what we do and what we should be doing differently. Great conversations, and today is no exception. We'll come to Prof very shortly, but just to remind you, Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. A tip from the Enterprise Group will be helpful at this point, and the question for the day is, do my premiums increase as my age increases? And the answer is simple. Although your age determines your premiums, it's only at the point of sign up. Once you buy the policy at a particular price, your premiums don't increase as you age. It's only when you opt for an inflation protector that it protects the value of the sum assured, and therefore you scale up to ensure you don't get disadvantaged. This tip is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. The number to call 030-263-4777. Email info@enterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. If you're a young person reflecting on the agriculture, agribusiness, ATV sectors and looking for opportunities there, especially if you're a young woman, this is the hotline or the call center number to keep on your phone at all times. 030-8255-775. Call, WhatsApp, find out what is new and how you can get into these sectors and make a career in these spaces. So much is happening there, and you will find it very exciting. The Springboard channel is my recommended place to go to find out everything we are doing here at Springboard. This broadcast, past editions, other broadcasts that we do at the Springboard. Go to the Springboard channel on YouTube, subscribe and hit the post notifications button, and you will get informed whenever we go live. Also, another contribution to building a good society, we always identify one business somebody is doing and just give them a free shout out, and people just buy from them. And sometimes struggling businesses have become more profitable just because we choose to highlight or just encourage them with what they do. So today, do you like coffee?
I do coffee.
I do coffee a bit more than you do. You can get coffee all day with 100% Robusta beans. Call Cafe Magnifico on 020-8780-888. And Prof, as a rule,
yes,
we don't take gifts from these companies that we mentioned. We just throw light on their work and then we buy from them at full price. We don't even take discounts. It's our small contributions. We are learning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The spirit is around the place, you know.
So if you just joined us, Professor Bawole, PhD, is a professor in the Department for Public Administration and Health Services Management, immediate past dean of the University of Ghana Business School. He holds a PhD in Development Policy and Management from the Global Development Institute of the University of Manchester in the UK. And today he's helping us set our thoughts going on our Thinkathon series, marking Springboard at 17. The question we're asking before we went on the break, how much land does a man need? And I cited a quote that set Prof laughing, and the quote said, "Power without morality is the most dangerous force in the world," and that is from Christopher Paolini. Prof,
yes,
your recent lecture,
yes,
on the topic, our corruption, our ethics, our public administration, wicked citizens, wicked problems, and stagnating development. How much reflection went into just even choosing the topic?
Thank you. To be honest, and I work with a lot of young people, so my mentees, you know, when I set myself to do an inaugural lecture, there were several things that we wanted to talk about. I really wanted to talk about so many things, really. First, to chronicle the public administration landscape in Africa and say all the things that are weak in there. I also do a lot of environment stuff. I teach green business management, so the issue of, you know, galamsey and our environment, and then I looked at the capacity of civil servants across. I looked at all of the things. So I wanted to really say, but I have just 45 minutes to speak on. And I've looked at the enduring problem of ethics in our society and the slippery slope on which we are. There is no engagement that I've had that when it is time for people to interact, you will not hear everybody complain. In fact, everybody is complaining. You meet parliamentarians and the slightest opportunity they get, they are scared about the system that they've been trapped in. Many of them are not comfortable with what they do, but unfortunately they cannot get themselves out. They appear trapped and all of that. You know, talk to business people and you would hear the complaints on how difficult it is to get, you know, honest people to work for you and stuff like that. Go to our schools and you will hear the complaints from lecturers on how students are doing it, you know, everybody is cheating and the system. So literally everywhere, we are really suffocated with no proper air for anyone to breathe when it comes to the morality of our society. So I told myself that I was going to start this so that we will come back to the conversation. Many years ago, there was literally conversations around morality, ethics, and being a good citizen. But today, you can literally check the media landscape, and you're not getting anyone talking about anything that pricks the conscience of every individual. Even in churches, sometimes we have lost the capacity to speak truth to ourselves. So I told myself that I was going to start this conversation and talk about the way we have become. What is the state of our morality? But because I was talking about this within the public administration context, I decided to use ethics rather than morality. And I asked the question, what is public administration doing to be able to, because in civilized societies, it is a responsibility of public administration to hold all of us together and to make us be responsible. what is our public administration doing? So I decided that I was going to, and I was very deliberate, not to go after civil servants and public servants anymore, because we have done that too many times and we aren't getting results. But I said, let's look at the system that we have created together. A.L. Adu was a Ghanaian public servant who became the Secretary General for the Commonwealth Secretariat and taught in Gimpa. And he had written on corruption at the time and said, when he hears people complain that the Ghanaian society the civil servant is corrupt, he disagrees because he thinks that what is corrupt is the Ghanaian society. And that civil servants are just a small number of us we have picked to go and manage our public administration system. And so if all of us are corrupt and we pick 5 of us to go, they are corrupt also. So we cannot expect any better thing from the public services. So I decided that, well, if that's okay, let me look at our public administration system. But let me ask the question, how are citizens contributing to this? How is that making us unable to deal with our development challenges? And how is that affecting our development? So I wove this cocktail together. And that gave me opportunity to literally, and I said my lecture was not too academic because I didn't want it to be, because I wanted to be able to reach out to anyone, everyone, to say that, look, this issue is not about a professor in the university. It's about the fact that your son is in school and you are happy to get exam questions for him. And he's the one to become a medical doctor who must take care of you. Or else somebody else got a fake driving license for their son and their son is going to drive you into the ditch. Or that somebody got a fake certificate for their son and their son just messed up your investment in the bank. Or else, which then ropes all of us in. And I was deliberate in choosing our corruption, not to leave myself out. Because what in the teaching of ethics I've noticed is that any time that somebody was at the forefront and leading, if the rest didn't pay attention and kept him or her on his or her toes, he also misbehaved. So it's important that I don't go there and project a moral uprightness and speak to the rest of the people and leaving myself out. I also didn't want people to immediately start pointing fingers. And I had a couple of people call me and say, so what are you talking about? Will people listen? If people will listen. I said, well, I don't want anybody to listen. To you, I want to listen.
Exactly.
So don't tell me about somebody who is not in the room to listen to me. I just want you to listen. So all of us are involved. So let all of us be part of it. And that was what went into the conversation at trying to call us back into a conversation over what we have become. And I tried to demonstrate using 3 countries that Ghana was better than at independence: Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore. At independence, Ghana was better than these. But I showed using GDP per capita and GDP growth. I also showed using our performance on SDGs. And I showed using our performance on Human Development Index. And for all these indicators, these countries that we were better than have become better than us. But to be able to show that this is not just a matter of us being weak in policy, being weak in the mind and all of that, I then also had to look at the morality stance of these countries against us. And so I went looking at indicators that measure, for example, anti-corruption, for example, state effectiveness, and all of that. And for all of those also, they do better than us. So then I'm concluding, I don't do quantitative analysis, so I'm not saying that this leads to that. But I'm concluding that why we are what we are today is because of our moral bankruptcy. And that if we would be able to heal ourselves of this, we will be a country that everybody in the world will love to live in.
Of a moral reset of the public sector, arguing that sporadic persecutions are just firefighting. What would be alternative solution?
So I have said that a number of things, maybe 3 things we can do. I have a 10-point agenda. I don't intend to talk about them today, but we'll talk about that maybe another occasion. But 3 things I think we should do. One is moral civic education. Civic education looks very mundane. You would think that, oh, but civic education. But if you have studied, and I took time to study countries that were historically very corrupt, not like us. In fact, in some cases, it was deadly corruption. How did they get out? And they got out by consistent civic education. And this civic education is also one of my 10 pillars of getting out of corruption. That number 1, we cannot expect a button pressing revolutionary, overnight process. You press it, the next day everybody's clean. It will never happen. What is possible and has happened elsewhere is that education, civic education, it's a very gradual process of getting ourselves healed. In fact, if you, and I use the analogy of if you are the neighbor who plays his Abin or her song behind your window every day, after 1 month, he or she will start singing Abin or her.
Yeah. So
that's the power of unconscious reawakening of the consciousness for ethical improvement. So we need to do a lot of civic education. And to be honest, this morning, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I was in the Minister of Education's office because I'm decided on and being part of the process. So with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, with Sheikh Arimiao, we went with the Minister of Education. And we went to the Minister of Education to say to the Minister, we must do something about our civic education. And one way will be to hit our school systems and make sure that we reduce the lot of things that we force these kids to learn and help them to build up their moral consciousness once they grow. That's one thing that I think we can do. The second thing I think we can do is for us to, as I say, let's saturate this environment with a story of good. And again, that is also very, you can use the analogy I gave about somebody singing and you start singing also. That our children are now socialized into just a huge toxic environment of no good being told. So good people have gone into hibernation. Every good person in Ghana is hiding today. And the people we see, we write about, the media focuses on, and we shout on are the people who are doing bad. So your kids will only have you as their moral compass. Every other person they see, or they hear, or they read about is somebody who we say are doing the wrong things. Now, how do we intend to model young people into becoming white when all we show them is red? So my argument is that let's talk about good people. Let's say the good things people are doing. Let's celebrate goodness. Let's see our communities, celebrate good people, and let's talk about good. And so for me, and I have a number of points about why and how we can do that. My third thing that I think we can do is for us, especially in the public service, is to do what I call moral and ethical audits. Moral and ethical audits of our institutions and the leaders of those institutions. So, Rev, I was dean for 6 years. If ever anybody was going to give me another position after being dean for 6 years, I think that my moral stature should be measured. This man was dean. How did he run the school? What did he do right? What are the things that his people say about him before we give him a higher position?
3 recommendations. The first one is civic education. Second one, saturate the environment with the story of good, something we've done here for 17 years
Absolutely.
and counting, and we are doing it relentlessly.
Absolutely.
Somebody said, "Why are you always talking about
Please
it? Can't
talk
you see
about
the
it."
bad?" I said, listen, the more we talk about the good, the more we throw light
Yes.
on what can be done.
Yes.
The third one is moral and ethical audit of institutions. Prof, he called them wicked problems, and he also used the word wicked citizens. Throw light on that a bit.
So in wicked problems is a theoretical concept in public administration. And when we say a problem is wicked, there are a number of indicators that we use. So number one is that this is a problem that mutates. You know, in science we say mutation. So a problem that you attempt a solution and changes form.
Right.
A problem that has implications for other problems.
Right.
A problem that can largely, in some cases, very difficult to actually formulate.
It's hydra-headed.
Exactly. Those are what in public administration discourse we call wicked problems. The concept of wicked citizenship, I just coined that from this analogy of wicked problems. And I coined that to show how the Ghanaian has become extremely difficult to deal with when it comes to doing the right things. Everyone is wanting to be let loose to do what they want, but everyone is also complaining. And you will see in the characters that we exhibit nothing but wickedness. And I have 3 things that I use to show this. Number one is the way that our public officials have behaved over time. And I've shown pictures of how we would import 100 vehicles and pack them and they get rotten 10, 20, 30 years. The cars are rotten. Meanwhile, there are public institutions across the country. We will build houses that we want people to live in. And they will tell you, oh, somebody misbehaved and we have to do something, and we leave the houses for a decade, 2 decades. We all know how our roads are. And this morning, some radio station was talking about roads. If you decide to drive intercity, you have just signed your death warrant. Talk to people who run private businesses, and you would hear the stories of how ordinary, innocent-looking people would mess up your business the next day. It is the reason why we have high unemployment. Why? Because nobody wants to run 2 shops because he can't be there, so they will just keep the one. And therefore, they and their family, they are sitting on it. And the people who must get jobs are not there. People are so wicked that you run a shop and they come to the shop. In fact, there's a businessman who says on our board, he says he has a chain of hotels. The people who sell the drinks, when they are coming in their backpack, they have drink there. When they sell his drink one, they keep the money, they remove one from their bag and replace it. So you come in the morning to check, you have 10 bottles there. They have still 10 bottles. You come in the evening, you still have the 10 bottles. He has still 10 bottles for himself. What kind of persons are we? If I guess worse, and in my lecture I showed I told the experience that I got when I went to the Medina Cemetery. We went to bury a church member. And after the reverend had finished the prayer and everything, and they had to lower the casket, they had to put this soil. The brother of the deceased jumped into the grave and took hold of a pickaxe and started dismantling the coffin,
casket, yeah.
the coffin, the casket. And I shouted because I had never seen this kind of disrespect to a dead person. Then the guy that I was with said, if he doesn't do that, we won't get back to the church. The guys there who are in the cemetery would cover this person. As soon as you move, they would exhume the body, pour this individual into the grave, remove his shirt, remove the shoes, everything that you have on him. They will remove everything, take the casket, wash it, and go and resell, and sell the clothes of this dead person in the Medina market. And that was the day I lost it. Because then I started weeping, and I told my family, anytime I die, please take me back to the village. Until I started searching on the internet, and I found out that even village cemeteries are getting ransacked. What kind of persons are we?
So your conclusion is that the wicked problems and the wicked citizens lead to stagnating development.
Absolutely. Because the truth is that, I mean, recently I was talking to somebody who said one of the mining companies had mined in one area for a long time and just discovered gold. They just discovered that they were actually mining just the tail of the crocodile. The real gold is what they have found today. When we all grew up, nobody imagined that there was gold in the north of Ghana. Today, literally, every household you dug, if you dig every house today, you will find gold. What kind of people are we? I asked my colleague, you think the white man is stupid that he will come to Ghana and name it the Gold Coast? No, it wasn't for fun. That's the kind of people we are. That's the kind of country we have. We do not need any help from anywhere. I bet you, Rev, if we can screw up, and now I'm shouting, forgive me, because I get emotional about this. If we could just screw our moral compass and move it one notch to the way they say it in economics, 1 percentage point or 2 percentage point, you would see the kind of rippling effect in terms of the extent of development that this country will go through.
Make me a promise, Prof.
Yes, please.
You need to come back and we'll just have one conversation.
Yes, please.
The 10-point prescription.
Yes.
Without diluting.
Yes.
Let's tackle it. Let's engage it. Let's do this again.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely.
On which note, then we'll wrap up this one. Without which we have to continue. This is a promise you must keep. This time,
I will keep a promise.
And this time, not 6 years.
No, I'll give a promise. I'm available now. I'm not employed now. I'm just a professor teaching, so I have time available for us to do more work. And this is, as I said, it's the advocacy that I want to do. And so in that lecture, I had said that it was a provocative lecture. And I told myself that I want to be part of the problem solving.
Yeah.
And so, and as I said, we have to saturate this environment. I intend to go very, very busy, engaging. And I'm going to be going across the country, talking to young people. I've told myself that in 5 years, I want to bring 1 million young people to be like who I am in 5 years.
By the grace of God, we can support this venture that you are embarking on because it aligns very much with the quest for a good society.
Thank you, Reverend.
And remember that this is your home.
Yes.
You always are welcome here.
Absolutely. And let Corporate Ghana throw resources at it because today, all the financial crimes that happen in banks, a significant chunk of it is perpetuated by the bank staff themselves.
What would be your closing thoughts for someone listening and asking, something had better happen because we can't survive this much longer?
So first, I want to say that let us be the change we want to see. And I say that people can live right. People can not be corrupt. People can work in a corrupt environment and not be corrupt. It's very, very possible. All you need to do is to take your daily dose, and I call it daily dose. So I'm leaving the house. I tell myself today, I won't do anything that would not make God happy. I won't be corrupt. And I tell God, today let my being alive make Ghana better than it would have been without me. So every one of us must become part of this. First, please refuse it. The refuse privilege. And I ask the question, if, for example, if you are President Mohammed's son, will you come to Legon? A lot of my young people say no. I say no, so why do you blame someone else? So it is us who must do it. So number one, let us become part of the solution of the problem. Number two, look for like-minded people and bond with them. Look for help. If you think that you are in a situation where it's difficult to extricate yourself from troubles, sometimes you are caught in a web you don't like, but you still do look for somebody and get them and all of that. And there are good people out there. Look for people that you can look up to and admire them and also get help from them.
Thank you for starting us off on such a strong note. This was meant to be Thinkathon, and I tell you set the bar very, very high. And I can't thank you enough for starting us off. Let's come again and let's do the 10-point prescription.
Yes, please.
This has been Springboard, your virtual university, the quest for a good society. The question, how much land does a man need? My guest, Professor Justice Bawole, reminding us of who we should be as a people and the fact that it's not about that person who should have listened to this broadcast. It's about you who heard it and how you can take a daily dose to make this country and this world a better place. Springboard has been brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, the Springboard channel on YouTube, and the Graphic Communications Group. My name, Albert Okran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.